All right. I think we are live. Let's see. Welcome, everyone. It's Monday evening, and we are working on the book, The Invocation of Presence, Chapter 12, Step-by-Step Method to Invoke Presence. And if one of you guys would be willing to read, that'd be great. Thank you.
I can read. Chapter 12 Step by Step Method to Invoke Presence. Did I ever give you a step by step method to invoke presence? She asked. You gave us the mantrum. I wish this to be used to invoke the presence of my presence into the present, T said. A mantrum is useless without a step by step method to invoke presence. I wish to invoke the presence of my presence into the present is useless by itself. For the invocation of presence, there must be a basis, a foundation. It does not happen by itself. Something must serve to feed the invocation. First, I wish. I establish firmly that I refers to the source of my attention and not to the machine I. Second, there must always be a this in the invocation, which refers to something upon which the invocation can feed. I use my sensing apparatus to illuminate, to keep track of what I refer to as this in my self-invocation. Using my sensing apparatus like a theatrical follow spot, I follow, define, encapsulate, and reveal this feeding substance to one part of my continuous attention, so that at any moment during the invocation, I am aware with my sensing apparatus what the word this refers to. I pass.
He used the silent sounding of these words. I know that when I say used, I'm offering up the feeding substance in the same way that I would place food at an altar, not in the contemporary tradition in which the food is hastily removed for use in the kitchen, but in the ancient sense in which the priest and priestess consumed the food only during the descent of the invoked presence. To invoke with my sensing apparatus, I mentally form a funnel with myself at the bottom, drawing the presence down to myself in a mental posture resembling the movement posture 4-2, the presence of my presence. Why not just my presence? Because it is not just my presence which is detected by my sensing apparatus. I wish to invoke not only my presence, but the feelable presence of my presence, the tangible atmosphere, its radiations, emanations, and mood, which is to say, the nimbus or aura, which descends upon me, extending outward in all directions like a living, pulsing sphere of light. Sorry, like a living, pulsing sphere of light. Okay, we'll pass.
Into the present. But what do I mean by the present? Rapidly, just for a moment, I take stock of my surroundings, approximate time of day, weather, temperature of the atmosphere, light conditions, sounds, smells, sensations, skin temperature, the location and posture of the body. Now I put it all together mentally, reviewing what each phrase means as it is silently sounded inwardly. As I mentally sound these words, I make certain I can hear them as if I were actually speaking, sometimes even startling myself with the nearness and reverberation of this inner voice. If necessary, I sound each word separately, allowing its reverberation to diminish somewhat before sounding the next word or phrase. Afterward, I pause very quietly like a bow hunter at a pool waiting for game. I watch and then and listen with my sensing apparatus. I test the atmosphere, looking for any obvious signs that my presence has descended, taking particular note to see whether the these referred to in the invocation has been or is being eaten, absorbed. Then I check for a washing sensation descending over and through my organic self, removing, feeding upon any negative state proceeding at the moment. I then check for subtle alterations in vision, hearing, sensing, smell, taste, all of which should be heightened to some degree, however small or large. May I pass?
Should we stop here to discuss before we proceed?
Why don't we go ahead and read the whole thing? It's not that much longer,
Oh, okay.
and we'll have the whole picture because there's quite a bit to discuss. You're right.
Go ahead, anyone, please.
Ask myself, excuse me, just give me a second. I then ask myself, after several moments have passed, whether my invocation had been successful. And if not, I gather my resources and attention almost tangibly, as if gathering great wads of raw cotton in a heap around my body, perhaps as high as my chest. And I try again this time, perhaps a little more carefully, more firmly, perhaps more invitingly, even seductively, or demandingly, or impartially, in much the same way that I might try different tonalities of invitation with another person until something worked, realizing that the same intonation will not work every time and seldom works twice in a row. If I think of the presence as a person with whom I am intimate, I quickly realize that I cannot order it about, even though it is to my own non-phenomenal self that I am speaking. Someday, however, my presence will have the habit to descend and it will need no coaxing. I pass. Periodically, I review to myself in detail the full list of indicators indicating the presence of presence. I also periodically
Review possible offerings at the altar of self-invocation, food, dance, manual labor, remorse, pain, illness, inattention, clumsiness, carelessness, argument, frustration, and its twin brother, impatience, as they walk merrily hand in hand. Even the smallest activity, such as passing through a doorway, can sometimes be used to feed an invocation, although nothing beats a royal flush, whatever that may mean to you. If, as often happens, I'm unable to arouse the necessary negativity in myself, I bitch, squabble, and roar at others who only too willingly obliged with enough food to glut an army of presents in any given moment of the day. Pass.
In many cases, it is necessary to actually provoke this. Otherwise, in the atmosphere of presence, which is to say, within its sphere of influence, a more or less perpetual state of self-calm would prevail, except, of course, under school conditions, an exact set of conditions which make it possible for all this to occur without the necessity for personal intervention, that is to say, an automatically proceeding and self-arising by mechanical momentum, astral heel which finds and crushes underfoot any corn that happens to be in the neighborhood. And, and I think that is the end of the chapter and the book as well.
Are you serious?
Uh,
Yeah.
oh, I didn't know that.
No, we don't want this book to end.
Well, that was surprising.
Mm.
Before we start exploring, what would be to you or you royal flush or David? Maybe you know.
Yeah, yeah. Do you know what the term royal flush means, everybody?
No.
Okay, it's a hand in poker. It's the
Okay.
it's the
Yes.
highest hand you can possibly have. Ace, king, queen, uh, jack, and 10 of the same suit.
Yes, I see that. Thank you.
Nothing can beat it.
Yes. Full. I see.
So, in the beginning of this chapter, EJ talked quite a lot about this and using your mechanism of the machine to sense this and then use it for invocation. So, I just want to discuss about this factor. Uh, so, could this be negative emotions of the machine which you would be using for invocation of presence?
I think in the last paragraph, he talks about this, and it's very paradoxical, at least to me, because we are somehow programmed to be nice and to be civilized. And as I understand what he's talking about is that um, to arouse some kind of negativity, there must be some kind of friction. That you find that in the school, or should find that in the school, uh, if not in your everyday activities, not the most adequate, but you can use at least this. That is what I understood in the
I
last
think
part.
I think EJ has repeated this term called school conditions quite a lot. Under school conditions.
Mm.
Stronger corridor of mirrors. A much stronger corridor of mirrors.
Hasn't a great deal of this book been about using the so-called negative manifestations as a source of energy to help you be reminded of invoking presence?
Mm.
Yeah, but I did ask Rajan about this, and he said that this technique cannot be used mentally
Right. Okay, what does he mean by that?
because by the time you recognize and you say, "Oh, I wish to use this to invoke the presence of my," that moment is gone.
That's right.
So it has to be another basis to use this method.
By the way, Nishant, I don't know if you notice you're sitting just like Rajan does.
Oh, sorry,
Your your body language is
I sit
exactly
straight
replicating
now.
Rajan's body
Maybe
language right
maybe
now.
maybe you shouldn't have said that. He now changed it. Since you brought it to his attention. We are actually
Uh-oh.
seeing the Heisenberg effect, what Egypt feels.
Especially
Yeah,
the
so
hat and glasses looks like it's
Hat and
Rajas.
glasses, how
Yeah.
his hands were positioning and moving in the air, it was almost like a mini Rajan sitting there.
Uh-oh.
that's funny. It's just because I'm sleepy, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, so he said the best way to do it. I mean, of course, he was mentioning the rhythmic breathing, but he said that's the best way to use this method.
Okay.
Could you
Well,
expand? Could
yeah.
you, Nishant, could you expand what you said a bit?
Bernie, they teach this method. It's called three-step rhythmic breathing. It's based on like a music, but that goes in the rhythm. Um, so I mean, I don't know how to explain. Maybe Swati can explain this. It's just a different approach to yoga and meditation. It's called three-step rhythmic breathing.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So the central idea of the technique is like like everything in the universe, the cosmos has a rhythm, and so does like even our breathing. If we breathe, like we bring our body brain system into the rhythm and the balance. And for that, this technique is like in 3 seconds you inhale, and there is a small, like a very minor pause, and then you exhale in 2 seconds. So it goes like 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. So in 1, 2, 3, you inhale. So Mr. T, like Rajan's guru, he developed a technique, and he did like that work to develop that music for us. So in background it plays like, so 10% of your attention go to that music, 90% to whatever you are doing, your machine is doing, and that way you divide attention. And it's totally like you sometimes, I experience, especially like almost 20 years back, that if I do half an hour of that consciously, the present moment spreads throughout your day, like at least 10 to 15 times I was reminded of myself, like I could invoke my presence into the present. So it was so much powerful, like it is so much powerful. So yeah.
It's actually based on the universal breathing rhythm. So when a kid is born, if you put your hand on the stomach of the kid and notice the breathing, it is in that uh, particular rhythm.
Mm.
And Tavareji's science was that the whole universe, it is the actual correct aligned breathing of the earth that he's trying to align us with.
Yeah, especially to this method, the invocation of presence, it gives a basis. Here it says that, in this page it says for the invocation of presence there must be a basis, a foundation.
What is that basis or foundation?
I mean, in this case, this music would be this rhythm would be the basis,
Okay.
the
Okay.
breathing.
So, uh, let's see. On the next, so it says the word second. See that? There must always be a this in the invocation, which refers to something upon which invocation can feed. Then I use my sensing apparatus to illuminate, to keep track of what I refer to as this.
Yeah. Yeah. Whatever
Using,
you're sensing.
So we
okay,
are using
sensing,
this. So we are using this as a fuel
right.
for invocation.
My sensing apparatus is like a follow spot in theater, right? Like, those spotlights that follow the performer. I follow, define, encapsulate, reveal, and this feeding substance to one part of my continuous attention, so that at any moment during the invocation, I'm aware with my sensing apparatus what the word is referring to. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Again, it's sensing, it's not thinking.
exactly, precisely.
You sense. Yeah.
It's so critical that the mental centrum is the slowest, most ponderous, though it has a high degree of, you know, people in the world love it. But nevertheless, it's very slow, unreliable. What is, so every one of us has been through this. So what do you mean by what is your sensing apparatus? Can you get in touch with it
I
right
think
now?
I'm in. I am in touch with it all the time. It's just that I might not be aware of it.
I I sense that the sensing apparatus is much more than the five senses,
Yes.
uh, and it's located in what we should say in the heart or in the chest somehow. When it's a strange feeling, it's a sense that is more than the five senses together in a way. No, it's
100%. Go down about 3 paragraphs where it says the presence of my presence. And in the middle, it says the feelable presence of my presence, the tangible atmosphere, its radiations, emanations, and mood, the nimbus or the aura. Can you feel when you're emanating from the essential self?
a little.
A little bit. That's okay. I mean, if you acknowledge it, it doesn't have to be big. It's just, can you? The answer is yes, you can. And to just develop the discernment to feel that emanation. It's not, in a sense, it's not you. Okay. It is the divine coming through you, but doesn't matter.
Yes.
When you guys read in the morning, who's there again? Bernie?
Nishant,
Yeah.
Nishant, Nick, myself, and Liz, a girl, I don't know exactly. Liz, yes,
Okay. When you're lit, how long does it last?
half an hour.
Half an hour.
Yes.
So when you're into it for about 10 minutes, do you feel, do you sense a feelable presence, a tangible atmosphere?
Sometimes, sometimes.
Yes,
I, I,
no, maybe so.
I tend to find that the mechanical mind is acting. It gets bored. Oh, again, this repetition. I know them by heart. Lucky I am that it's Nishant here and Nick.
Yeah,
I'm, all the blah 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 blah, blah to yourself. But anyway, I am there.
right.
Uh,
But aren't we weightlifters? Aren't we weightlifters practicing how to be able to lift more and more and more? And what you're doing is sacred work in that morning.
mm,
Yes, maybe it's for other people, maybe you read for them. There's that part, but it's also you're preparing the ground for the infinite to come through you. You have to get bigger for the infinite to show up more and more and more. When there's an enormous amount of energy that comes in from the infinite, it has to have a vehicle that can handle it. Well, that's why you do these, with your, get a little bit stronger each time. And you do.
yes,
Think about how clumsy you were a year ago when you were doing this.
I tend to think of a word endurance. You
Hey,
know, endurance.
it's a
This
beautiful
word,
word.
yes.
When I asked Lee Lozowick you know, basically when we were preparing to come out to California, and I asked Lee Lozowick, I said, basically I was asking him, about development and things like that, and he goes, basically, and the way I interpret what he said is basically don't think of any of that. All you should really be thinking about is can you hang in there day after day after day?
Hmm. I have a question for people who are into the reading, especially maybe Bernie can answer. So last weekend, I just started to read the ABD, and I think in second chapter or something, he's talking about all these chambers and all that. But I was all alone in the house, and I started it somewhere in night, 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock. I literally got scared, and then that moment I just reminded myself of Nikhil and you guys reading. So how you
Mm.
feel that time, because I started to get scared was that he was explaining some symptoms where you can understand that okay, contact has been established, who is not in the organic body. And that time I felt some movements upstairs, somebody is dropping something, some utensils are making noise in the kitchen, and literally some few of the stuff getting down on the floor. I was just by myself in the entire house, and I got so scared I stopped reading. I literally want to read and come out of all that fear and stuff. So I'm just wondering how being a part of reading group can help you get rid of all that fear and other stuff that scares unnecessary.
Before you let her off the hook, why did Swati get have so much fear?
Hmm.
It's the defense mechanism.
Hmm?
Yeah, defense mechanism.
What does that mean?
Am I feeling vulnerable?
Well, of course, there's that. That's psychological.
He doesn't want to wake up, uh,
Okay.
and it will bring all kinds of emotions to avoid when, I mean, avoid your thoughts. Basically,
Uh,
to get in the right direction, it'll resist
to get in the which direction? I'm sorry.
in the right direction. In the right
Right
direction.
direction.
Yeah.
Yeah. But doesn't it imply that she was able to see that chamber?
I think I was very much into it. I felt that.
Yeah.
And something started to, I really felt that. And some other time too, not reading this.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right, David. I did not think about it, but I think I was in that chamber.
How about like the scary sentence, I am the voidness of the void, the eternal unborn, the uncreated, neither real. I don't want to be the voidness of the void. I just want to be this guy.
You don't get a
Hmm.
choice, David.
But what I'm pointing out is that there's a psychological reaction, but at the same moment, something in her actually saw it.
Mm.
And then
Eh,
the chronic comes in and says, no, no, you ain't going to go there. So I think it's kind of beautiful.
I just want to make a comment on based on what you said, Swati. So, like when I do the readings in the morning, uh, I think
Mm.
now I can sense that there is a sort of detachment uh,
Mm.
when I'm reading, almost to the point that I forget what I read the last time, and when I read it again this next cycle, it is brand new to me when I'm reading that. That's what it seems to me.
It's
Yeah.
brand new to the Voyager. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Nishant, please.
No, no, I was just saying, yes, that is correct. Yes. Every time we read it, it just feels like new. like you are reading for the first time.
Somebody wipes this slate clean is what I feel that
Mm.
it our slate is work. So I think it's like a lesson, like if a teacher teaches you physics in the morning, you will not remember it 3 days unless you go back to the book and read it again. So if you want to memorize it, then you have to go back to the book. But you are somewhere putting the essence into practice. And that's why when David's saying the Voyager it's new to the Voyager for sure, because that lesson has somewhere been imbibed by the Voyager. And then the meaning is probably appearing deeper
Mm.
or more. Um, so
Swati,
not
Swati,
in,
Yeah.
sorry.
uh, I would be very glad if you have time and you would like to come to the morning meeting with us. Would be, I think, would be delighted if you have time. I don't know from where you are if you have, the time is appropriate, but I think from the heart I would like to you to come and share the reading. No?
Thank you, Bernie. Actually, since last year, I was looking for some kind of training or courses where I can like be a reader. But yeah, I think this is a good time to start. So, what time actually it happens? Like CST or EST, if Nikhil or Nishant can tell me, then I can just think over it.
Yes.
So it's 4:30 Pacific time.
4:30 would be my 7:30
7:30.
in the morning. 7:30 to 8, right? I mean 4:30 to 5.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
And the real truth is we need two things. We need the feminine energy, and sometimes we are not, one of us or two, sometimes two of us are not able to be there. So it would be important if we have another another group reader, you know.
Bernie, I think we need to start advertising this on Facebook, on maybe Prosperity Path, and so that people can, come there and maybe just read on, few days, whatever, they like to do.
This is the
Yes,
ABT thing we're talking about, right?
Yeah. And
Oh,
there is no prior experience that is required. You just have to show up with the ABD book.
and it's
yes.
at so 4:30 is 5:30, 6 p.m. our time,
Yes.
IST.
I think when I was in India, it was for me 5, and then it shifted to 6
That was
during the daylight saving time thing, I think. So
okay.
yeah, just figure that out.
5:30
Yeah.
PST. Noted.
And Swati, there is a course that happens every once in a while called the Labyrinth Readers Course. It's quite beautiful and it's certainly worth taking.
Yeah, so who is the contact person if you know any idea? Like I would be glad
Pat,
to.
Pat Elizabeth,
Andrew,
Paula would know, Carmen.
I can
Okay.
I'll share that email with you, Swati. I think Andrew Bishop would be the best contact to
Oh,
connect
okay,
with.
Andrew.
And the course usually happens during the end of the year, usually during Christmas
Uh-huh.
or month before that, either in November or December, and goes all the way until April.
But you can get the book too, right? She can get the Labyrinth Readers Course book and begin working her way through it.
Good part.
I
That
think
would be great. Yeah.
for Swati, I would just recommend just to start reading with us in Second Life and just use that, use that experience
Good
and see
suggestion.
what happens. And see what happens when you read in a group.
Mm. Please do share like, the link or Second Life, right? We connect through.
Yeah, Yeah, let me know if you need help. I'll assist you in setting up. You have to install a software called Second
I
Life.
have it. I have been there a couple of the times, but just let me know the location where you do the reading, so I'll join there.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Bernie, Nishan, do you know that particular location? I think it's next to. Uh,
6 p.m. Okay.
Yeah,
It's
we
next
can
to the
send
hall on the left, the Chendrik temple, towards the right of the Chendrik temple. Right, Mani?
yeah.
The Hall of Heroes or somewhere
No, the
between.
Chendrik temple. It's at the right of the Chendrik temple.
Okay.
And
Thank you. Yeah.
you send what the address, exact address.
When
Yeah.
you see her come in, you can give her the address.
Yeah.
You know, just watch for it.
Teleport. Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
teleport in.
Mm.
So
All
I
right.
think
Thank you. Thank you so
yeah.
much. Yeah, Alka. Go ahead.
No. So there's immediate right is the karma wheel. After that, I think there's the brain center, and after that is where that little patch is there. This is but they'll send you the link anyway. So
All right. That would be great help. Thank you, Alka, Nishan.
Yeah, Alka, for you as well. If you are able to make any of the days of
yes,
the
at
week,
6
feel
p.m.
free
I
to
will
join.
not be. Yes, Nikhil. So 6 p.m. every day would not be possible, but whenever I can, I will.
Yeah, whenever you can.
Got
Yeah,
it. Good for
that'd be
you.
great.
So in this chapter, let's start becoming aware of when the presence is there, when the aura, the nimbus is upon you. Like,
What do you mean, Nimbus?
okay, nimbus is just another word for your aura. It would be like the halo of saints, you know. In the Christian art, there's like the saint has a halo. It's indicating the etheric field, the
Energy?
auric field, the energy field. Yeah, because your energy field isn't just on your body, right? When someone comes in the room, sometimes you can feel their energy, right? How do you do that? What happened? How in the world does that happen?
We don't know.
Because of this, they are emanating their electrical force. They are an electrical being, as we are. What EJ is doing in this book and many books is saying, here's this whole other side of life. There's the machine, but you're also an essential self, a presence. And there's a beauty, like, you know, this term swaddling clothes for a baby? That's more of an a Western concept, but it's the blanket, you know, the blanket that you put around the baby. You swaddle the baby. And when I think of presence, I think of that swaddling yourself in the presence of the essential self.
Can you write the words in the chat? I never heard the words.
Nimbus,
The blanket around like this.
swaddling clothes.
Yeah. Can you write the words, please?
Yeah, I think I can. I can figure it out. There we go. But I can spell it right. Swaddle. I don't think that's right. Hang on.
I checked the dictionary.
Yeah. Maybe it's DD. Yeah. Swaddling is there's another D in it. I'm sorry. There we go.
Right with this.
Swaddling.
Double D. Double D.
Yeah.
In Spanish is envolver.
Envolver, see.
Envolver, yes.
You're encompassing.
Yes. Around.
Yeah.
Nice.
So we're kind of a little bit near the end of the class, but let's practice this week of what does it feel like? So we're used to thinking, here's the method, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, but just what is the electrical sensation, the vibratory sensation of being the washing sensation? See, like then I check for a washing sensation descending over and through my organic self, removing, feeding upon any negative state. Of course it does. But the point is not to get rid of the negative state. The point is to be in presence, right?
Yes.
It is so hard to to give exercises during the week, isn't it? Like almost impossible, basically. Did you see the word, Michelle?
Yeah, thank you so much. It's a
What is
new,
it in French?
I don't even know. I'm going to find, it's like an envelope, yeah? Enveloppé, maybe.
Yeah,
Envelope.
but look it up in
Yeah,
your French dictionary because I
yeah,
would like to hear it in French.
yeah. Let me see.
But so like I'm very curious about the experience that Swati had. She's starting to read this chamber and she gets scared to death. That happens to me more like in I think the sixth, seventh, and eighth, the
Unfriendly guides.
no, the friendly guides. The unfriendly guides I'm okay with. It's the friendly guys wanting to give me a hand, says, here, just stand in this piercing red radiation. Don't worry, it really will get rid of your um, pride or whatever the heck it is. Say it out loud though, Michelle.
I put it, but you said, Michel, émailleur, émailleur, Michel.
That's in Spanish.
No, that is in French.
That's the French? Okay, thank you.
Yes. Can you say it, Michel?
Yes,
Properly?
emmailloté, emmailloté,
Maillot, maillot, maillot.
emmailloté.
Wow.
Now we have it for the recording as well. Yeah.
French. Oof.
Snugly, yeah, it says snugly wrapping an infant in a blanket.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's done mimicking the secure environment of the womb. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So isn't that what we want? Isn't that what
Yes.
the blanket is the
Bon.
embrace, the warm embrace of invitation of the absolute. And we have to put a little bit into it. He'll meet us 95% of the way, but got to do a little something.
David, we are little time before us. What are we going to read next time? Or
Well, what I'd like to suggest is two things. Oh, there's no word in Hindi. That's interesting, Elka.
Such
Yeah.
an insipid word saying lapetna. Now lapetna is you can lapeto anything. Like you can wrap lapetna is wrapping. So that's a very insipid word.
So, two things. Let's reread this chapter on your own, okay? But pay attention, instead of paying attention to the machine this, and pay attention to your experience with presence. Like
Hmm.
Swati, so open in her work that she just read a book and it just about knocked her out. You know how you hear, like in Zen, the Rishi Zen guys, and they go, and thereupon he was enlightened, right? You hear that in some of those Zen stories because they're that close. They're getting closer. Let us get closer in our efforts and be swaddled in the embrace of presence.
In this paragraph, it says, I then ask myself, after several moments have passed, whether my invocation had been successful. And if not, I gather my resources and attention almost tangibly, as if gathering great wads of raw cotton in a heap around my body, perhaps as high as my chest.
There you go.
So, kind of like swaddling yourself.
Yeah, because it is your presence. And so our job is to develop the discernment presented to us by our sensing mechanism. Isn't that a great gift?
Yes.
Isn't it wonderful to have that? I mean, and then we stop using it because we're doing something really, really important, like watching an action movie on TV,
Mm.
or I've got to get this done. I've got to get this meal done. But it's always available, that channel, the opportunity to stand in the presence. And I always have this, I've said it before, I always have this feeling, and this is improper to say it this way, but that God's sitting there on the hillside and he's waving pom poms and saying, come on, everybody's welcome. Come on up here.
Mm.
And we just go, who's that crazy guy? And just keep walking.
Yeah, what about YouTube Shorts, right?
Yeah. There you go.
Reels, reels. When I started many years ago in this tradition or whatever, the exercise, maybe some of you recall, the exercise of presence was in the I don't know, it's a mantra or a wording. I am,
Hmm.
I am, no,
Yeah.
and I was not very serious about it because I forgot it many times. But it comes sometimes in an unusual way, you know. But I think this exercise of the presence that Jay has invented or whatever is much more powerful, much more complete, I think. Anyway, remember that I am. Yes, that's it.
I am that. Shivoham are also, I'm just looking at it in the perspective that these are also, now that Bernie said it, I'm looking at it in a new light, those words.
Yes.
I've got to spin off everybody, but it's good seeing you, and I'll look forward to seeing everybody next week, hopefully. We'll see where we go. Read this chapter,
Perfect.
talk about your experiences of presence, and consider the question that Nikhil just asked us.
Hmm. Thank you, David. Thank
See you
you all.
All
later.
right.
Bye bye.
Let's up. Thank you,
Bye.
guys.
1 second, guys. I want to play the track that. Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Michelle, can you? I'm not able to see it. Can you please play it?
You want me to play it?
Yes, please.
Is it in the chat or something?
I can't see it in the chat. I thought I saw it. Michelle, do you have the song? Can you please share it with us on screen? And we want to hear it.
Yeah, I think I saw at some point, but I don't see it now. It's strange. I saw a message, uh, song on presence.
In the chat, it says it's a song inspired from this class invocation of presence.
The link has disappeared. Yes, thank you. I'll share my screen. Swaddled baby.
Oh, you found it good. Oh no, you see, it doesn't work. Can you go down? I'll show you where it is. Because...
There was an E that
Oh,
was missing.
Oh,
That
looked like it worked. Looked like it worked, yeah.
yeah, okay. Thank you. Welcome.
I invoke the presence of my presence in the present. I invoke the presence of my presence in the present. I invoke the presence of my presence in the present. I invoke the presence of my presence in the present. Awake from the dream, arise in the light. The machine fades as I step into sight. No longer lost in the ebb and the flow. I call my presence, let it brightly glow. I invoke the presence of my presence in the present. I invoke the presence of my presence in the present. Each breath, each step, a gateway to see. I am awake, I am truly me. Negativity calls, but I turn it to grace. Fuel for the fire, I reclaim my space. The veil is lifting, the echoes are clear. In stillness, in movement, I am fully here. Divided no more, the inner flame bright. 1,000 times called, dissolving the night. To be and to see, in rhythm I stay. Presence returns, it won't fade away. I invoke the presence, I invoke the light. In this moment, I feel so alive. Breathing in, I awaken the flame. Here and now, I call my name. I invoke the presence of my presence in the present. I invoke the presence of my presence in the present. Moment by moment, I rise and expand. Awaken this now, I take my stand.
Nice.
Bravo, Michelle. Buenísimo.
Beautiful
Muy
words.
bueno. Muy bueno. Hit. It's a hit. Muy bueno, Michelle.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's magical. Sometimes it works.
Muy bueno.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for joining in, and let's meet next Monday. I think
Okay.
Inkwell, how are you?
we
You told us last time you were not well. What happened? Are you okay now?
yeah. I just fever.
No.
That's all. Yeah. I'm still not there yet. I'm still, but yeah, almost
Okay,
there.
bye.
Okay. Bye bye.
Okay,
See you guys.
bye.
Okay, bye.